All right, so we are live. Welcome everybody. PJ Riley, Lancaster Archery. Saturday morning here at the 2023 Lancaster Archery Classic. We are now into elimination matches. You can see them up and down the line here. So I should get my rules out to see how this works. Basically, all of our 17 divisions we've broken down into groups of either 64, 32, or 16. I believe those are the three divisions that we have. And it depends on the size of your class, how many we have there. And we're in an NCAA style bracket. So we're gonna shoot head-to-head matches until we get down to either a group of final 8 or final 4. And these head-to-head matches, I have to refresh myself on the rules. Okay. It's 4 ends. We shoot 4 ends for a head-to-head match. If we are, if we come out with a clear winner after those 4 ends, the winner moves on, the loser goes home. If we're not, then we go to, I believe we go straight to the shoot-off, which is arrow for arrow. So you go 1 arrow for score. If there's no winner, we shoot a 2nd arrow for score. If there's no winner, the 3rd arrow is closest to center. So that's what we're doing. It's going to take about 4 hours to get through all these elimination matches. We're down here. This is the men's open area where these guys are shooting against each other. So we're just going to kind of walk up and down the line here and find some matches to focus on. You know, we got a bunch of open pros that shot 659s. So there's several great qualifying scores out here. We'll get over to Barebow. I promise you we'll get over there. I saw John Demmer this morning. So we're going to bring you some of these matches as they happen. Guys, can we slide through? Just go out there. I have fears of like knocking all these down, just going boom, 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 boom. That was first in. All right, so we are through two ends of scores so far, and turn around, Alex, give him a shot, show him the scoreboards up top there. So this is how we keep score. You can see we're keeping track. That's through two ends. Of course, perfect would be a 66. So they are, most of them anyway, are tracking their scores above the target so we can see the action. We're in the open pro area now, which is why you see so many 66s. But everybody is shooting right now. Every division, all 17 divisions, they're out here competing now. What'll happen is groups like Women's Open Pro, we only took the top 16, so they'll finish up. They'll get to the 4 they need for the finalists, obviously faster than Open Pro, which will take 8 finalists. Barebow, we take 8 finalists. So that's how it works. The field will start to clear out here as groups get the number of finalists they need. And I should say that, you know, things are different. Now it looks like Recurve, thought maybe Recurve did a set system, but I'm seeing scores down there that are by number. So Recurve, I believe, does not do a set system here. All right, here we go, third end. Looking down here, we've got Garrett Ayresman on the left in the Matthews jersey. Next to him is Brent Platt. And then you got Levi Morgan, 3 Matthews shooters right in a row there. So I can tell you, it looks like Levi's, he's clean. He has not missed an X yet. Looks like Garrett Ayresman has dropped 1 X. Brent Platt has dropped 2. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. So what I'm told is that in these matches, the archers that are competing head-to-head are both shooting the same height. So the two archers on the bottom of the bale are shooting against each other. The two archers on the top of the bale are shooting against each other. This Open Pro field is stacked. I see Christopher Perkins, Glenn Bordwell, Brady Hempin, Jacob Pettit, Dan McCarthy, Jacob Marlowe, Robert Householder. All the names you'd expect. They were looking at Glenn Bordwell and Chris Perkins. Looks like Chris Perkins has dropped an X, but he is 1 point behind Glenn Bordwell right now. Let's follow this match here. Chris Perkins shot a .659 yesterday. Glenn Bordwell, elite shooter from New York. That one there looks a little bit wide. All right, Glenn Bordwell's got one close. I think they are. All right, so I think following this match between Chris Perkins and Glenn Bordwell, I believe we're going to see that Glenn just dropped a point, whereas Chris hit a 33. I will confirm that for you right now, in which case that would be a tie match. It's a close one. Actually, Glenn may have dropped two. He's got one that's real close, one that's pretty much out. Nope, he dropped one. So we are tied up between Christopher Perkins and Glenn Bordwell. That will be going into the final end. Let's see what else we got here. We will get over to Barebow, I promise you. Just for physical locations, what I can tell you is the Open Pro folks are the closest to where we started, to where our camera home base is. Barebow's the farthest away from us, but we will get there. Fear not. All right, so we got Zach Plonsky, who was one of our 660 shooters this weekend. He is holding a 1 point lead over Donnie Thacker. 95-94. Levi Morgan is tied up with Austin Taylor. They are both clean with 99s. Jacob Marlowe is in a tie with the CEO, Tim Hanley, 98-98. Tim Hanley, the CEO, made the historic run in the men's open division a couple years ago, came in the finals in 8th place and won it all. Only archer to ever do that. Let's see what else we can find here. Dane Johnson, 3D archer primarily. 1 point lead over Stephen Marsh, 98-97. Nick Cappers, last year's 2022 Lancaster Archery Open Pro champ. He is perfect at 99, but so is his opponent, Chris Hacker, 99. Chris Hacker, primarily a 3D archer. Good to see him shooting well. Brandon Reyes from True Ball Excel. He is clean at a 99, and he is currently up against Jeff Rainey, a big gun in the Open Pro, or excuse me, known pro ASA game. Brandon Reyes holds a 1 point lead, 99-98. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick with this Christopher Perkins Glenn Boardwell match, see it to its conclusion, since we started following that one. As you can see, our other camera jumps over to Barebow. We have 2 cameras, but we have one of me. I am one of one. Nobody wants 2 of me anyway. Looking for Bodie Turner. Oh, he's out here. Okay, so audio. You may notice some funky audio in the broadcast. I was explaining this yesterday. What happens is my mic is open here. There's music playing in the house for the archers. They want the music, so the music's playing. What happens is if that comes into my mic, YouTube and Facebook shut us down for copyright violations. There's nothing we can do about that, except what you're hearing, which is when I start talking into my mic, you can hear things, but then when I stop, the audio goes mute. That's how we have to work around the music in the hall here. I understand it's not the best situation, but it is what it is, because we're not going to stop the music in here, so we have to work around it. That's our way to work around it to continue to be live. The only other alternative is we bring you this live stream with absolutely no audio. Then you don't get to hear my voice. But that's the situation. All right, here we go. Christopher Perkins, Glenn Boardwell, tied at 98. Ontario Archer against New York. They don't live too far from each other. Chris shoots an X, Glenn shoots an X. Second arrow. Chris shoots an X. Glenn's got a long hold. Oh, Glenn definitely dropped that one. I believe that's a 9. Chris Perkins on his third shot. He will take this match. We're going to have to go down there and look. So Glenn's is in the vicinity of a 9. Chris's is not an 11, but it's definitely a 10. But what I can't see is if Glenn's dropped into the 9. If he caught the 10 line, we're still tied. But I think his dropped into the 9 ring. So we'll go down there and check this out. Can't tell by either of their third arrows. Everybody's looking now to see, because if they both shot 10s, then we're still tied. But if, here we go. We're going to find out.
Congratulations on finishing your first end of eliminations. All right. If you are fortunate and you have advanced to the next round, your scorecard will tell you where to go. You will take it with you to the next round. If you are not advancing, your scorecard needs to stay with the staff member. All the electronic tablets need to stay at the bales. They don't leave the bales the whole time, all right?
No.
Let's go score them. Congratulations, guys.
Glenn Boardwell did shoot a 9, so it's irrelevant whether Chris shot a 10 or an 11. He will take that match. All right, so Chris Perkins did shoot an 11-11-10. Glenn Boardwell is an 11-11-9. Chris Perkins will take that one, and he will move on. And that's the name of the game here, survive and advance. I was talking to a couple of pros yesterday, and they were mentioning that, you know, you can come in here and shoot a 131, which would be dropping 1 point. 132 is perfect for a match. And someone else can win shooting 126, you know, if their opponent shoots a 125, and the 126 archer will move on, where the 131 archer gets eliminated. That's the nature of head-to-head. It doesn't matter how good you are in the field as long as you're better than the person you're shooting against. So that's kind of the free-for-all nature of this tournament versus strictly stressing perfection. Looks like Jesse Broadwater beat TJ Strachalski. Good to see TJ out here shooting. He's a local guy. Jacob Pettit has beaten Dan McCarthy, so Jacob Pettit will move on. Nico Gerard beats Sawyer Sullivan. Nico moves on. Looks like Stefan Hansen won. I think. Yes, Stefan won. And it looks like Austin Taylor has beaten Levi Morgan. Yep, Austin Taylor beat Levi Morgan. Zach Plonsky moves on. All right, these guys have a bunch of matches to go through. You can follow along. All right, you can follow along with all the scoring. Check the graphic below, and that will allow you to follow along with all these elimination matches. Jesse Broadwater still alive. Looks like he's going against Jacob Slusars. Nick Cappers and Chris Hacker are going to a shoot-off. So actually, before we get over to Barebow, because they won't be able to continue while we have a shoot-off. What happens here is there are two courts, but the judges treat them as one. So if there's shooting on one side, there's no shooting on the other side, unless there are unfinished matches over there. So we have to get through the shoot-offs before the next round starts for everybody. So the women's field was stacked. There were a lot of really good archers, you know, since it's only a field of 16. And I mean, there will be some really good archers knocked out. See here.
If you are in a shoot-off.
In the Masters division, I see Randy Morocco still alive. Paige Pierce will be shooting against Danelle Lutz. All right, we got shoot-offs in the women's division. We've got Lisselle Jotma and Ella Gibson are going to a shoot-off. Mackenzie Weatherspoon and Linda Ochoa Anderson will be going to a shoot-off. I see Lico Areola advanced. Olivia Dean has advanced. Cassidy Cox has advanced. So our shoot-off matches In the women's open pro are Mackenzie Weatherspoon, Linda Ochoa Anderson, Lucelle Jatma, Ella Gibson. So let's watch those, folks. We'll hang with this shoot off. Since there's 4 archers there. Moving down while we're waiting for that to get set up. Headed to Olympic recurve. Looks like Nick Damore moves on. Nick is from the Virgin Islands, but he shoots pretty regularly at our Lancaster Archery Pro Shop. I see Jack Williams moving on. Casey Caulfield moving on. Savannah Vanderweer moving on. Alyssa Arts moving on. Gabby Schlosser, past champion. Brady Ellison, I don't see his name anywhere. Right, so I did verify that Brady Ellison is moving on. Mikhail Frangili is moving on. Seth McWhirter, Joseph McGlynn. So, this Brady Ellison match. There was a hotly contested match last year. Brady Ellison against Glenn Thomas. It was a difficult one. There were some difficult line calls that Brady came up on the short end of. He got knocked out last year. Now he's back shooting against Glenn Thomas. I have a feeling Brady really wants this one. So that is in Olympic recurve. The heavy hitters in Olympic recurve are still alive. Junsa Oh, who has done well in the youth male recurve, now shooting in the adult class. So while we are waiting, I'll go over and take a look at some of the Barebow, see if there were any upsets before we get to our shoot-off. Usually Barebow, the early rounds upsets are rare. Not impossible, but rare. All right, let's look here. Women's Barebow, Fawn Gerard still alive. Cinzia from Italy, she is still alive. Lena Bjorklund, another Barebow powerhouse, still alive. Looks like I got Sydney Phipps, Cinzia, Christina Procoli, Maggie Brenzinger, local archer, she's still alive. Fawn Gerard, Laura Hughes, Lena Bjorklund, Isabel Leston. That is your women's field. I see in the men's side, Spanky Brooks, still alive. Eric Bennett, D. Wayne Martin, Dwayne Martin against Lee Wilkins. There's going to be a good match this next end. Mike Ellis, Dan Weiss, John Winker still alive. Joel Turner still alive. Bodie Turner's dad. Jeremiah Jones, Eric Johnson, Matt Yaka, Timothy Strickland, Robbie Weisinger. He's our #1 seed. He is still alive. I have not seen the name John Demmer. There's a couple that don't have name tags up. I just got the word. John Demmer did win. He's too cool to put up his name tag for me to see, so yeah. Many big guns in Barebow archery still alive. And as I said, now we're in a holding pattern here until we finish these shoot-offs. I don't see any shoot-offs on this side. No Barebow shoot-offs. So we're going to get back over here and watch the Women's Open Pro. While Barebow sits in a holding pattern. Mackenzie Weatherspoon, she was our winner. She's shooting against Linda Ochoa Anderson. And Mackenzie was our Women's Open champion last year. So she went up to the pro class this year, obviously qualified for the finals, and now finds herself in a shoot-off.
If you were in a shoot-off
against Linda Ochoa Anderson, who has won on every stage imaginable.
When you shot the elimination round. So if you were in AB, they need to be at the top. If you were in CD, they need to be at the bottom.
That's the 4 matches for Women's Open Pro. I'm going to see. I don't know if I got all the matches lined up for Open Pro. I know we have Chris Hacker and Nick Cappers. All right, so I am mistaken. In our elimination tiebreaker, it is straight. Oh no, I got it right. Yes, it is closest to center. Closest to center. So it is a 1-arrow shoot off. It is not for score, closest to center. We're shooting straight for closest to center. So 1-arrow shoot off. And I just saw Michael Hulbert and Dylan Thompson. That's another Open Pro shoot-off we have here. We're going to come down and watch the ladies shoot since we have 4 of them. How you doing? Again, 1 arrow closest to center. Well, I figured Here we are down here, Spooky Nook Sports Complex. If you're just joining us, 2023 Lancaster Archery Classic. We are in Elimination Day. We had our first elimination matches, and we have a series of shoot-offs on this court where our cameras are. On the other court, we have Barebow, Bow Hunter, and I believe I saw some Senior Open over there. But over here we have Women's and Men's Pro. We have Men's Open. I know we have Masters Women's Open and Recurve. Judge is giving them instructions on how this will work. It is one arrow closest to center. Looks like Liselle and Ella both tied at 131, meaning they each dropped 111. They're in a shoot-off match. Linda Ochoa Anderson and Mackenzie Weatherspoon tied at 129. So there's an example where either Liselle or Ella shot better than one of the other two, but one of them's going home, and one of the 129 archers will advance. That's the way head-to-head works. Just have to beat the person next to you. Our finals will start this afternoon at 1 p.m. We will start with Saturday. We will start with Senior Open at 1 p.m. Then we're going to go to Women's Open at 1:40. Masters Open. Senior is 60 plus. Masters is 50 plus. Masters Open will be at 2:20. Women's Masters Open, 3 p.m. Then we have Youth Male Recurve at 3:40. Youth Female Recurve, 4:20. Youth Female Open, 5 o'clock. Then we have the big ones. 5:40, Women's Barebow. 6:20, Barebow to end the day. Rest of our matches will start Sunday morning at 8 a.m. We kick off Sunday morning, of course, culminating with the Open Pro Finals. That's the grand finale, because that's our biggest prize, $20,000 from us going to that winner with contingency, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 possible. So what's happening, the delay is we have to get these scoring tablets, the electronic scoring. This is where it goes crazy, because you got to change it after every match. And then to set up for a shoot-off, you have to set up special tablets for that. We certainly thank our partners at archers.com. I see Miro out here running down the floor. It looks like we are about to get started here. Again, we're going to follow the Women's Open Pro matches. We've got Ella Gibson against Liselle Jotma, Mackenzie Weatherspoon against Linda Ochoa Anderson. And it looks like first up will be Mackenzie versus Linda. All right, here we go. Mackenzie Weatherspoon on the left, PSE. Linda Ochoa Anderson on the right, shooting Hoyt. Mackenzie hits, boy, that's about dead center. Two really good arrows there. I think Mackenzie might be a little bit better. Boy, that's close. You talk about two solid 11s down there. So now we have Ella Gibson on the left shooting Hoyt, Lisselle Jotma on the right shooting Matthews. Oh, I think Lascelles might take that one. Again, two 11s. From here, I believe Lascelles looks a little bit better. We'll get the judges to call our winners officially. Archers are staying back. Wow, Mackenzie Weatherspoon has inside out X. That is as dead center as you're gonna see. Yep, Mackenzie is our winner in that shoot off. Up top, Lisselle Jotma takes the win over Ella Gibson. So Lisselle and Mackenzie advance. Now I'm working my way down to the Open Pro, where it looks like we have Chris Hacker moving on, defeating Nick Cappers. Michael Holbert. Yeah, Dylan Thompson, sorry. Dylan Thompson beats Michael Holbert. Chris Hacker beats Nick Cappers in our Open Pro division. All right. Chris Hacker showing he's got some game there. A 3D guy. Nick Cappers, second in Vegas last year and won the Classic. Chris Hacker's main thing is 3D, of course. He just took down an indoor guy. And now we move on to round two. So we will go over and watch some of the Barebow archers for this next end. Okay, we are over here on the Barebow side now. Again, Robbie Weisinger is our #1 seed. He is shooting against Randy Irvine. Oscar Kjorneberg against Matt Hudson. Timothy Strickland, I don't know who he's shooting against. Have to find that out. Didn't have a name tag. Matt Yaka against Roberto Junta. Justin Sperlaza against Rick Stonebreaker. I'll find out who Tim Strickland is against. Brian Way. Tim Strickland against Brian Way. Eric Johnson against Jeremiah Jones. Jeff Ogilvie against Michael Fisher, a past winner here at the Classic. Giuseppe Samandi against Joel Turner. Justin Isabel against Sean Campbell. John Winker against Alan Nicely. Leo Pedersen against Jeff Heffelfinger. Dan Weiss against Mike Ellis. Tim Johnson, I will bet, is against John Demmer. Let me check the card here. No, Aaron Shea. Lee Wilkins, Dwayne Martin. Daniel Bellotti against Eric Bennett. Spanky Brooks. This has to be John Demmer. I have not seen his name anywhere. Yes, it is. There you go. That's the match we're watching. John Demmer, Spanky Brooks. There's two heavy hitters. Then in the women's, we've got Isabel Leston against Lena Bjorklund. Laura Hughes versus Fawn Gerard. Maggie Brenzinger. Christina Procoli. Cinzia Noziglia. I never know how to pronounce her last name. Everybody just calls her Cinzia. She is going against Sydney Phipps. But we are watching Spanky Brooks, John Demmer. Two of the most colorful characters out here. Not to mention two of the best barebow archers out here. So hold on to your hats. This is going to be fun. Pretty good crowd over here watching the barebow archers shoot off.
A couple times they got knocked over yesterday. I'm like, oh.
All right, so what we're hearing from the judges is, yes, this is frustrating. There is a lot of downtime, but that is what we have to do once you have these eliminations. Now you got to juggle people around, because you might have had people who were shooting 10 bales away from each other. You got to reassign them to shoot on the same bale. You got to set up the electronic scorecards. all that stuff has to be set up and takes time. And when we have 17 divisions on 135 bales, that takes some time. We appreciate everybody's efforts here, but take a look at this Spooky Nook Sports Complex Hall. This was all set up as a whole mess of field hockey courts as of Tuesday. Our Lancaster Archery crew came in here, got all that out, turned this into, just to give you a sense. Let me grab one of my camera guys here, and I want to show you this piece of blue, or no, the yellow shooting line here. Just give them a shot down here, like kind of here, so they can see the yellow the whole way down. So you see those shooting lines there. That is one continuous piece of tape going down to the end there. And this is the small side. This one's about 80 yards. The other one is 100 to 120 yards long. One person put this piece of tape down slowly and methodically to make sure it's in exactly the same place. And then not only do we try and get that perfect, but then we measure each lane from the yellow line to the target to make sure it's exactly 18 meters for everybody, 20 yards basically, but 18 meters. But look at that piece of tape, how long that is down there. That was one person taking the time to lay that out perfectly. And we don't let anybody else handle that. We don't let a contractor do it. We have our people do it to make sure that it's done right. And that's one line. There's another line just like it that's the dead arrow line, where if your arrow goes in front of that line, you can't retrieve it. But that's exactly the same length as the shooting line. All these lane numbers, each one of them gets put down by hand on the floor. It's a monumental effort to convert this facility into a championship level archery hall. And then show them the signs. I'm going to show you the signs because that's what I did. I hung all these signs back here. That's not quite as difficult as, or painstaking as getting this line down, but there's a lot of signs in here, let me tell you that. Thanking our sponsors. We definitely thank our sponsors. Couldn't do this without them. This is a monumental undertaking. This is basically an all hands on deck for Lancaster Archery Supply. Every employee is involved in some way, including if that means, you know, hey, the business is still running. The warehouse, people are still placing orders. Our pro shop, people are still coming in. Today's a Saturday. Today is a busy day in the pro shop anyway. We got people working there. So even though they're not here, they're still helping the effort because they're having to work extra because our people, a bunch of us are here. So it is an all hands on deck event for Lancaster Archery Supply. Questions. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll try to get to them. I see folks coming back from the targets. Everyone is moving towards the shooting area, hands going up. I believe we are about to get started. There's Frank Hebner, just gave the thumbs up. All right. Here we go.
PJ, how are you, brother?
All right. How you doing?
Pretty good.
All right, here we go. John Demmer, Spanky Brooks. And we'll get a shot next to John Demmer is Eric Bennett, who has one arm. I've seen him shoot Olympic recurve before. He shoots with a mouth tab. I've not seen him shoot Barebow before. John Demmer starts out with an X. Holy cow. Remember, this is Barebow. No sights. And he just crushed an X with his X10. I'm going to move back so they can't hear me. Spanky's got a 9. It's like Spanky's got a 9 and a 10. Demmer's only shot 1 arrow. There's Barebow. Demmer shot an 11 and a 7. Spanky has, I believe, 9, 10, 7. John Demmer getting ready on his 3rd arrow. Oh, that one's in the 10. Looks like an 11, 10, 7 for Demmer. Remember, we shoot 4 ends for score, and then if we're tied after that, 1 arrow shoot off. So I believe Demmer is going to have the advantage after this end. But at some point, we're going to show you Eric Bennett shooting, because that's incredible, his shooting with 1 arm, shooting with a mouth tab. And Eric Bennett has, I believe, a 10, 10, 8. Incredible shooting. Like I said, I've seen him shoot Olympic recurve. I have not seen him shoot Barebow, but he is shooting Barebow now. Shooting with a mouth tab. So for Spanky, we got 9, 9, 7. Demmer, 11, 10, 7. And Eric Bennett, 10, 10, 7 versus Daniel Bellotti, an 11, 10, 9, I believe. Might be an 8. We'll see the scores here in a second, but Eric Bennett, man, incredible archer. Proof that, you know, this is a sport for anybody. He's got 1 arm. He figured out how to do it. Okay, so Eric Bennett just told me this is his first tournament shooting barebow. He said outdoors he will stick with his Olympic recurve, but he's shooting barebow for the first time. Again, he shoots with a mouth tab. Holds the bow with his left arm, draws with a mouth tab, and look at that shooting. Got a judge checking Daniel's arrow here. An 8 calls the judge for Daniel's third arrow. So we are looking at 11, 10, 8 to Eric's 11. No, Eric had a 10, 10, 7. But so we've got Daniel with a 28 to Eric's 27. And then in our match that we were following, John Demmer 28 to 25 over Spanky Brooks. Vaughn Gerard shot a 30 over Laura Hughes. Chinzia has a 27-25 over Sydney Phipps. Lena Bjorklund 29-26 over Isabel Leston. Maggie Brensinger is behind to Christina Procoli, 29-27. Christina has the lead there. We're going to stick with the Demmer-Brooks match. Both, John Demmer, of course, has won this tournament several times. Spanky has won it. And we often, I should say, see Spanky Brooks in the finals. But if he loses here, well, one of them, that's not going to happen for, Demmer or Brooks. All right, draw weights, folks want to know. John Demmer said he is pulling 38. Spanky Brooks is pulling 36, 37, he said. So one of the things about a recurve bow is the farther the rating for the bow is the draw length at 28 inches, 28 or 29. In front of that, if you go in front of that rating mark, your draw weight is going to go down. If you go past it, your draw weight is going to go up. So you can have a set of 20-pound limbs, and you're going to be shooting. You could shoot at 18, anywhere up 22. They don't have a defined stop like a compound bow. Technically, you have infinite draw, although as I saw the other day, you will eventually break the limbs if you pull too far. All right, here we go. Second end, John Demmer, Spanky Brooks. John Demmer comes right back out with a 10. Spanky is in the red with his first. John Demmer just shot an 11. Spanky Brooks with an 8. Demmer just got an 8, but it was because he banged off one of his arrows. It was headed. He would have had all 3 in the gold there, but his third arrow glanced off into the 8, but an 11, 10, 8. Barebow. Unbelievable shooting. let's go down here. Check out these scores. John Demmer showing why he is the GOAT of Barebow. At one point, World Archery has different records for Barebow, and at one point, for different disciplines, at one point John Demmer held all of them, all 4 records, indoor and outdoor. Looks like Demmer has an 11-10-8. Again, that 8 is only there because it kicked off his other arrows. Spanky has an 8-9, and then he's got an 8-9 liner. See here in a second. All right, looks like Demmer extends his lead, 57-50. Eric Bennett takes a 1-point lead, 54-53. Now we've got Lena Bjorklund, 57-52. Isabel Leston. Fawn Gerard, 59-50 over Laura Hughes. Christina Procoli. Oh, Maggie Brenzinger swaps. Now Maggie Brenzinger, 1-point lead, 54-53. And Chinzia with a 57-49 lead over Sydney Phipps. Let's move down here and see Dwayne Martin, commanding lead over Lee Wilkins, 53-46. Leo Pedersen is trailing Jeff Heffelfinger, 53-49. John Winker, 1 point back from Alan Nicely, 47-46. Sean Campbell, 52-50 over Justin Isabel. Joel Turner, 57-53 over Giuseppe Simandi. Michael Fisher, past champion, 55-54. Jeremiah Jones, 57-56 over Eric Johnson. Rick Stonebreaker, 56-52 over Justin Spirlaza. Matt Yaka, 51-45, U.S. Open champ, past. Timothy Strickland trailing Brian Way, 56-53. Matt Hudson, 60 over Oscar Kjornberg, 55. And our leader, Robbie Weisinger, our #1 seed, 54-51 over Randy Irvine. Okay, so the tablets that you're seeing, the scores that you're seeing, electronic scoring, it takes a while for the tablets. If you can imagine, we're in here, the tablets have to go back to the home base, and then the scores have to get uploaded to the computer, so there is a lag. It is not instantaneous. That's why I'm reading you the scores. I'm giving you the scores that are here on the floor, because the archers flip over their numbers above the targets, so I can tell you what the scores are right away. But electronic scoring, there is a delay on your end. Getting a thumbs up here. We're about to get started. End number 3. And we are hanging with the John Demmer Spanky Brooks match. As we mentioned, there's Eric Bennett, accomplished Olympic recurve archer, one arm, shooting barebow, his first tournament. Watch how he shoots. He's got a mouth tab on there that he draws with. It's actually the way, you know, these other archers, what they do is bring the arrow up to your eye. The way he's drawing, the arrow is right at his eye. And he just shot an X, I believe. John Demmer shoots an X. Spanky's in the red. John Demmer in the yellow again, although it looks like a 9. Spanky just shot a 9. All right, now you want to talk about barebow. So John Demmer was cruising on that yellow. He just shot, I think it's a 3. It's a 1 or a 2 John Demmer just shot on his 3rd arrow. Spanky's got 2 9s and an 8-9 liner. Demmer, though, with an 11-10-1. 1 or 2. You hear people jump up and yell barebow. That's why. So he had a 7-point lead. I don't think he gave it all back, but he gave a bunch of it back. It is a 2. It is not a 1. I'm sorry, 3. No, he'll get the higher one. 11, 10. 4. He's going to take a 4 with that arrow. I'm blind, sorry. But he will shoot, I mean, here's John Demmer, best of the best. He shoots an 11-9-4. That's what happens. Spanky has 9-8-8. So it's not going to be as bad for Demmer. He'll still maintain his lead, but that's what happens in barebow, and John Demmer will be the first to tell you. It happens. So we'll see how this changes the score. Demmer moves to an 81. Tell us about that last arrow.
Well, I was harnessing my inner PJ, and I figured that's about as good as PJ can shoot barebow. So
that's better than I could do. All right, so Demmer's still up by. Waiting for Spanky to. There we go, 81-75. Okay, we got one more to go. Demmer does hold on to his lead, 81-75. Lena Bjorklund, 82-78 over Isabel Leston. Fawn Gerard, 88-71. She's rolling. Maggie Brenzinger in a tight one, 81-80 over Christina Piccoli. And Chinzia, 85-77 over Sydney Phipps. Down. Let's see if we have any changes. No, everybody else seems to be holding. Joel Turner bumps up his lead, 84-79. Michael Fisher now down by 1. Jeff Ogilvy takes a 1-point lead, 81-80 over Michael Fisher. 1 end to go, remember. Eric Johnson, 86-85. Jeremiah Jones. All the rest seem to be pretty well in hand. Number 1 seed Robbie Weisinger, 82-79. All right, here we go, last end. All right, the judges are coming back. We're going to go in to our last end. Barebow happens, as they say out here. And John Demmer shoots a 4. 11-10-4. You never see that in compound. That's kind of what makes Barebow cool. Anything can happen. The best of the best. Shoot a 4. Demmer and Spanky both open with 9s. They both follow up with 10s, matching each other. Demmer had a glance out into an 8. Spanky finishes with an 8. They matched. John Demmer will take that win. All right, John Demmer, reigning 2022 Barebow champ, is going to move on. Passes Spanky Brooks. Get an update on the rest of the matches here. Spanky might have an 11 there. That's really close. 11-9-8. Demmer 10-9-8. For Spanky. And a 10-9-8 for Demmer. He will move on. Eric Bennett had a pretty harsh glance out. He had an arrow in the 10. He had another arrow hit the back of it and kick it down to a 7. So it looks like he will lose to Daniel Bellotti. Cinzia wins her match. Stefan Gerard is going to move on against Laura Hughes. Okay, Christina Procoli wins against Maggie Brenzinger. Lena Bjorklund moves on. Danielle Berlotti is going to move on. Dwayne Martin wins. He's moving on. Everybody took their scores down. Who won here, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Tim Johnson wins this match. It's fine. I'm sure Robbie Weisinger. Check your scores. Everybody took down their targets. So for the other matches, you have to check the score to see who won. I do see Matt Yaka is hanging around, so he won. I know Robbie Weisinger won. Rick Stonebreaker's putting up a target, so he won his match. So we still got some big guns in Barebow that are still alive. You can follow along with that. Going to check Olympic recurve now. See who is still alive, who's moving on. See Jack Williams still at the target. Brady Ellison against Junsa O. Joseph McGlynn against Mikhail Frangili. Matt Requa. Sachin Gupta and Nick Demore and Jack Williams. There's some good matches here in Olympic recurve. Women's recurve, I believe, has been decided. I see Casey Caulfield hugging her mom, so I'm guessing she has advanced into the finals, which she was the #1 seed coming in by a fairly good margin. So I'm guessing she'll be our #1 seed in women's recurve. All right, so our women's recurve is going to be Casey Caulfield, Savannah Vanderweer, Gabby Schlosser, and Alyssa Arts. That is a great field right there. Casey and Savannah, of course, both are trying for the 2024 U.S. Olympic team. Alyssa Arts is a young up-and-coming archer. She shoots at our Lancaster Archery Academy. And of course, Gabby Schlosser, that's Mike Schlosser's wife, she has won here before. From Mexico, lives in the Netherlands now, and she is an excellent recurve archer. So we got 4 good ones who will be in our finals for women's recurve. Let's see what I can see down on some of the other ranges. Again, we have 2 courts here, so while I was with Barebow, there was a whole other area where I was not, where matches were happening. Compound. I'm going to find out who our 4 are in women's compound. All right, so our women's compound here is going to be a good one as well. We've got Paige Pierce, Tanya Galantine, Lisel Jatma, who just won Nîmes, and Lico Areola, Vegas champ. That is a stout field right there. Awesome group. We've got Bill Drake, Tim Audis, Tim Gillingham, and this is in Masters Open Pro. Oh, and Rob Morgan. He's the 4th. Okay, there you go. Rob Morgan, Bill Drake, Tim Audis, Tim Gillingham are 4 for Masters Open Pro. That's a great field there. Rob Morgan is Tate Morgan's dad. Now I'm coming down to Open Pro. Rattle off as many names as I can. Bodie Turner still alive against Levi Reitzma, Colton Hamilton, Braden Gelantine, Dylan Thompson, Jimmy Lutz, Chris Hacker, Mike Schlosser, Kyle Douglas, Dave Cousins, Chris Schaff, Brandon Reyes, not sure who Brandon's shooting against, Jacob Slusars, Nick Gerard, Dane Johnson. So the Open Pro, they're going to have to go to another round of matches, I believe. 1, 2. Yeah, they're going to have to keep shooting for a while. So we're going to jump down here to men's recurve. Okay, these are shoot-offs. There's shoot-offs down here. We got 1 arrow shoot-offs. We got a pile of them in the Open Pro. Zach Plonsky against Garrett Ayersman. Bodie Turner, Levi Reitzma. Again, these are all closest to center. All right. Our match between Braden Gelantine and Colton Hamilton. Colton Hamilton is our winner. Jimmy Lutz defeats Dylan Thompson. We have a tie between Bodie Turner and Levi Reitzma. Chris Hacker moves on against Mike Schlosser. Zach Plonsky. Our 2 660s are still alive. Zach Plonsky beats Garrett Ayersman in a shoot-off. Chris Hacker beating Mr. Perfect in a 1 hour shoot off. Big win for him to advance. All right, so here we have another. We had a tie between Levi Reitzman and Bodie Turner, so now we're going again. 1 arrow closest to center. Inside out for Bodie Turner. Oh, I think that's Bodie. We're going to find out. Bodie looks a little bit better on this one. Levi still shot a great 11, but Bodie's going to take this one. There it is. Bodie Turner takes the 1 arrow shoot off. Advances to our final round of eliminations here. All right, so we're gonna, for this last round, I'm gonna hang out with the Open Pro guys, but we will also have a camera bringing you some action from the Olympic recurve range, where you've got Brady Ellison and Jack Williams both fighting to get into that finals. They have met in the absolute final match before, and each one of them has won. Brady's beaten Jack, Jack's beaten Brady. They are not shooting against each other, I should note, in this elimination. Bring you the matchups here in Open Pro. You against Zach? All right, so we got Zach Plonsky against Austin Taylor. David Hauser coming back against Jacob Marlowe. Dane Johnson shooting against Dane Johnson against Remington Boyer. Nick Gerard against Jacob Slusars. Chris Hacker against Brandon Reyes. A couple 3D guys there duking it out. Jimmy Lutz against Chris Schaff. Dave Cousins against Kyle Douglas. And Colton Hamilton against Bodie Turner. Those are our matches to get our 8 finalists in the Open Pro Division. So both of our 660 guys, Zach Plonsky and Bodie Turner, are still alive. And so if they both advance, Zach would go in. Well, I can't say that because how they shot in eliminations will factor into their final ranking. So they could flip-flop. Zach won that historic shoot-off last night against Bodie to come in here as the #1 seed. But then all these arrows they shot today will count towards their ranking for tomorrow's finals matchups. Looks like we are about ready here. Chris Schaff still alive, coming off that win in Nîmes last week in France. Big World Archery tournament there. Kyle Douglas, of course, multiple Vegas and NFA Indoor Nationals champ, shooting against Dave Cousins, who's been doing this for a long time, longer than Bodie Turner's been alive. Have we seen Dave Cousins out here? He made it to our finals last year, did Dave Cousins. He's 45 years old is Dave Cousins, still shooting at this elite level. And he is definitely the oldest one here in this Open Pro Final 16. Dave Cousins won the World Field Championship this year. That's what I know him from. Even though he's an accomplished indoor, field is what I think of when I think of Dave Cousins, but he can kill it indoors as well. He's shot multiple 659s here at the Classic through the years. And so folks talk about, oh, you know, these are the pros. They've got all this backing from the sponsors and manufacturers, etc. Zach Plonsky is an unsponsored archer. He's shooting for himself. He shot in the pro class, obviously because he feels he can compete. But that bow is his own. I believe he's shooting a Hoyt, just for the record. David Hauser. I don't believe he does some engineering work for Bomar Archery, but besides that, I don't believe he has a bow sponsor. He's shooting a PSE, so if I am wrong, someone can correct me on that. I don't know if he's a sponsored archer, but he is not a full-time archer. He's a full-time engineer, works in the oil and gas industry, has a successful business there, so he kind of shifted away from archery a little bit. But obviously, he can still hang with the big boys. A lot of 3D archers out here. Dane Johnson. Jacob Marlowe, I would say he's one of those unique ones. He has had success in both places, 3D and indoor. Kyle Douglas, likewise. Of course, he's our defending ASA known pro Shooter of the Year. All right, so microphone, folks, you have to understand this. There's music playing in the house. Yes, we know the audio goes in and out. That's because when I stop talking, music comes into my microphone and YouTube or Facebook will shut down this feed. The only way we can bring you a live feed with any audio is for it to work the way it is. I know it's frustrating. I know it's annoying. It's the way it has to be. Otherwise, there's zero audio or zero live stream. Those are our only two options. Because we're not turning the music off for these archers. This is our final matches here. We are in the 1/16th round. All of our winners here in this Open Pro class, they will be our finalists who will compete for the top prize, $20,000 tomorrow. Looking at Dave Cousins and Kyle Douglas, I believe I see matching 33s. Bodie Turner definitely shot a 33. Colton Hamilton, he's got a close arrow. 10 or 11, I can't tell. Jacob Marlowe, I believe, has a 30. David Hauser just dropped a low arrow. He caught the 10, but it's not an 11. We're going to go down and check out these arrows. We're shooting 4 ends for score. Ties are broken on 1 arrow closest to center. Okay. All right, first end, Zach Plonsky, Austin Taylor, 32-32. David Hauser has 2 close arrows here. One is a 10-9 liner. That one's going to hurt. Jacob Marlowe has a perfect 33. David doesn't want to give up 2 points here. He may give up 3. He doesn't want to give up 2 on 1 arrow, that is. Dane Johnson shot a 33. Remington Boyer, this is a matchup of 3D powerhouses, known pro. 33-33 for those two. Jacob Slusar's 33. Nick Gerard, 33. Chris Hacker and Brandon Reyes matching 32s. Jimmy Lutz shoots a 32 to Chris Schaff's 33. Dave Cousins, Kyle Douglas, 33s. Colton Hamilton, Bodie Turner matching 33s. I just need to see the score for Marlowe and Hauser. 31-33. So only 2 points he gave back there, did David Hauser. It's better than 3. Marlowe shot a perfect 33. All right. We move on. Once again, we're spread out through this facility. So if you're saying, how come he's not going over to get Barebow or recurve? These groups are shooting pretty far apart. By the time I'd run over there and get something, these guys would be shooting. We found it's easier if we hang with one group. And since Open Pro is our top prize, we're going to follow them through their last matches. Barebow will have the big stage tonight. There are 8 finalists. It's always a great show. Our finals are starting at 1 p.m. You can follow along. And those, of course, our finals format is head-to-head. And those are the only 2 people shooting. So we've got a special area set up for that, multiple camera angles. We put the archers in the spotlight, absolutely. And so every one of our divisions will follow. We will broadcast those live from end to end. So whoever makes the finals, you will see them shoot in a continuous live broadcast either today or tomorrow. We've got some of our divisions. Finals are today, some are tomorrow. Okay, everybody's saying, how come PJ's sitting down? My back's killing me. I've been running around this thing for 3 days now, and my back hurts. And I still have the big show coming up this afternoon where I will be standing from start to finish. Okay, I'm shutting up now. Looks like X11 for Plonsky. Austin Taylor just shot a 10. So it looks like Zach Plonsky takes a 1-point lead. Plonsky, 33. Austin Taylor, I believe, another 32. We'll want confirmation on that, but I believe his one arrow is just low. Jacob Marlowe shoots a 33. David Hauser has 2 in. He's shooting his 3rd one now. Got it. I believe that's another 33. We will go down and update these scores, update the matches. All right, we're calling a judge over for Zach Plonsky and Austin Taylor. Meanwhile, Jacob Marlowe, 66. David Hauser, 64. Dane Johnson, 65. Remington Boyer, 65. Nick Gerard. I believe Nick just dropped a point. I believe we're going to see 65, 66 there to Jacob Slusars. Chris Hacker takes a 1-point lead, 65, 64 over Brandon Reyes. Chris Schaff takes a 1-point lead, 66, 65 over Jimmy Lutz. Kyle Douglas, Dave Cousins, both 66s. Yes, oh no, Jacob Slusars and Nick Gerard are tied at 65. Bodie Turner takes a 1-point lead, 66-65 over Colton Hamilton. So Cousins versus Douglas are the only ones that are perfect 66s. I believe that has us caught up on Open Pro. The Plonsky score is 65 for Zach, 63 for Austin Taylor. So Zach Plonsky takes a 2-point lead. All right, here we go. And number 3, we shoot a total of 4 before we go to shoot-offs. Don't forget, yes, the audio sounds funny. Again, that's because when I stop talking, music can come into my microphone and YouTube or Facebook will shut us down. So when I'm talking, it's okay, but when I stop, everything goes mute so that we don't get shut down. That's our workaround. We're not turning off the house music. That's just not going to happen. So this is our workaround for that, to be able to bring you this live stream. Who wants to see Kyle Douglas and Dave Cousins go to 1-arrow shoot-offs? I know I do. Plonsky and Taylor match with 11s. Marlowe and Hauser match with 11s. These are the guys closest to me. That's why I'm calling them. Austin Taylor with a 33. Zach Plonsky, from here it looks like a 33. If anything, he may have one just slightly wide, but it's hard to tell. David Hauser with 33 or 32. Marlowe shot a 33. Might see a shift here in the Cousins-Douglas match, as I see 2 arrows down there that potentially could be 10s. Let's work our way down. All right, Zach Plonsky gave one of those points back. Now 97-96 over Austin Taylor. Jacob Marlowe, he's still clean. 99-97 over David Hauser. Looking at arrows on Remington Boyer and Dane Johnson. Bodie Turner still perfect, 99-97 over Colton Hamilton. Chris Hacker, 2-point lead over Brandon Reyes, 97-95. Jacob Slusar's 1-point lead, 98-97 over Nick Gerard. Chris Schaff still perfect, 99-98 over Jimmy Lutz. And did have a switch. Kyle Douglas, he dropped 1 point. Dave Cousins perfect, 99-98. Dane Johnson, 98-97 over Remington Boyer. This is our last end. Got a lot of tight matches. We have no ties right now in any of our Open Pro matches. So if everyone does their thing, we should have all winners. But our clean archers who have not missed an X are Bodie Turner, Dave Cousins, Chris Schaff, Jacob Marlowe. They are all perfect. Just waiting for the field to be cleared here. Clear for shooting. Again, this is going into our last end. And there currently are no ties in Open Pro. So, could we move forward to get our 8 finalists without any shoot-offs? We're going to find out. I certainly can't remember a time where we didn't have shoot-offs in our last round of matches in this class. You can almost always bank on there being shoot-offs. Currently, there are no ties. So, I am hearing that we have a tie down in Olympic recurve. Brady Ellison and Junsa O are tied at 95 going into the last end. So that's a big one going into the final end. All right, here we go. Plonsky and Austin Taylor, X. Jacob Marlowe, X. David Hauser, 10. Plonsky and Austin Taylor, again matching X's. As long as Zach shoots an 11, he's in. Zach's got it. Right. Let me see what I can see from here. I believe Bodie Turner's going to hang on. Dave Cousins stayed clean, so he will advance over Kyle Douglas. Chris Schaff stayed clean. Going to have to look at Dane Johnson against Remington Boyer. There's some odd arrows there. And I believe Chris Hacker is going to hold on to his lead over Brandon Reyes. Let's take a look here. So, Zach Plonsky will move on to the finals. Jacob Marlowe will move on to the finals. Dane Johnson too close to call. Jacob Slusars will move on to the finals. Chris Hacker will move on to the finals. Chris Schaff moves on. Dave Cousins moves on to the finals. And Bodie Turner. Bodie Turner and Dave Cousins are both clean. So we need Dane Johnson moves on to the finals. So there you have it. So it is Plonsky, Marlowe, Dane Johnson, Jacob Slusars, Chris Hacker, Chris Schaff, Dave Cousins, Bodie Turner. Hey, Dean, you line them how you want it. Now I can take us out, Kyle. Right here. All right, there you have it. Elimination matches are done. You saw our final field for the Open Pro. Can't wait for that one tomorrow afternoon. But don't go anywhere. We will be back starting at 1 p.m. in Olympic Hall with our finalists. First up is Senior Open. Got several divisions we're going to finish up today, culminating, of course, with the women's and men's Barebow finals. That's going to be this evening. Come back and join us. We will start our live broadcast shortly before 1 p.m.